this is a really good example. When people put tile on a wall, especially homeowners, they're not aware of the fact that walls aren't perfectly flat, even, and all that stuff. There's little bump outs, especially on older homes and stuff like that. So you cannot put tile flat to a wall, and that's exactly what they did here. This tile is literally pushed up against the wall as far as it can be on both sides. In fact, it looks like it's recessed into the wall in a few places here. And so inevitably what happens is you end up with a lot of lippage. None of this tile really matches the lippage on here. I can feel it, it's harder to see it. The grout has popped out of here. But the reason for that, the reason for all the lippage that's going on is what I just alluded to. When you're setting tile on a floor or a wall, you have to give yourself enough thin set so that you can manipulate your tile, so that if the wall's not even, you can come in and out to make the tile even by virtue of your thin set. And then of course you back butter your tile, and then you have a little bit more manipulation going on, rather than setting it straight to the wall and hoping for the best. And most people, it's not even a matter of hoping for the best, they just don't realize that you're not going to end up, you know, with flush tile. And there's all kinds of lippage going on here for that reason. And then in addition to that, this is just a really crappy job. There's huge grout lines in these corners. The corners don't match up. There's sliver cuts. Look at that. That sliver cut is embedded into the grout, and there's no excuse for that. There really isn't. They have cuts on the outside here that are much larger than the cuts on the inside, especially these are get smaller. See, this one's kind of small, and then it's thicker. So what they really should have done is they should have started full tile. This is a staggered pattern, but they should have started full tile up here in the corner, and then tile until they get to the half point, because you had more room you could have worked with, right? You didn't have to put the bullnose right out the edge here. You could have put the bullnose, bumped it out to this point, and then by the time you get over here, you've got a full tile, and then the bullnose can go at the end. That would have been a cleaner look than having all these various cuts, and especially in the corner here. This wall is even worse because you got sliver cut here, almost no cut. No, it's just hard to wrap my head around why. It's really what it comes down to is poor planning. The sliver cut was so small here that they said, you know, screw it, let me just fill this in with grout, and that's exactly what they did. Look at that bump out of that tile. That's just huge. And so it's a poor quality job. Apparently this is a flip house, meaning that it was foreclosed on at some point, and then the flippers came in and tried to make it look nice and failed at that. I don't know. I'm at a loss for words at a lot of these jobs that I go on, because I can't get over how somebody can do things. Look at this. Oops. Getting water all over the place. Look at that. Why is that acceptable? Like I don't know. Like, why would you? I don't know. Sometimes I go way too long expounding on all of that which I see is wrong, and it's for no other reason than just to if you're going to do a DIY project, know these things that I'm talking about. Know to bump out your tile. Know that, you know, your cuts should be nice and, you know, symmetrical as possible, and just know what you don't know. And that's the reason I post a lot of these videos, is to show you. Look at here, they didn't even 45. I didn't even notice that. They just brought this bullnose to that bullnose and didn't even bother doing a 45 cut. And so it's just a sloppy way to do tile.